Hello, Sarah. I'm Christy. I know I've done a couple of Tarot Tuesday readings for you, so I'm a little bit familiar with the process, I think. Um, but I welcome to your 2018 year ahead spread. And what I'm going to do for you today is pull a card for each month of the new year of this year, and along with a card that's kind of an overall theme. So this is actually take two. I did a reading last night, and I just was not. It ended strangely, and it felt weird. So I decided to do a second reading for you. So I'll be curious just to kind of see if there are similar themes that bleed through between the two, and I will definitely share those as I see any connections. Um, but yeah, so what I usually do is as I'm shuffling the cards, I'm kind of asking, what kind of meditating on your name and your face and asking what messages I should share with you today. And then what I usually recommend for people is to take what resonates with them, leave behind what doesn't. And when something resonates, it's kind of like plucking a guitar chord or in a piano when you see that, like it strikes those long coils. When you open we had a piano growing up, so I was always curious. I'd open up the front panel and watch the chords. When you strike them, they vibrate. And that's what makes the sound. And so it's like that, when something kind of strikes the nerve, we use that term, strikes the nerve, it resonates, makes a little sound. So what that means for us when something resonates with us is usually we feel it in our bodies. We feel it kind of tingle or vibrate or whatever it is. And it can be like agitating, where you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Or it can be invigorating. It can make you feel really happy. It can make you feel sad. There's all kinds of things, but the point is, when it resonates, you have a response. When it doesn't resonate, it's generally flatlining, like you're not, and to be honest, when it doesn't resonate, you generally forget it anyway, because when something resonates, it's much easier to remember, even if it's something that frustrates you. So pay attention to that. And then I usually tell people with the year ahead spreads to write them down in a journal. So writing the card down in a journal, along with anything that strikes you as you're listening to your reading. And then you can also, what's cool is you can also take that card. There are so many resources online, in books, etc., that do kind of general suggestions for what the cards mean, because they, the symbols correlate with different earth elements, things like that. And so you can get generalized readings, and that may add layers or dimension to your reading as well. So I would encourage you to do that. I do that with my readings, and I will take what I get from it, but then I will also kind of reference it against different things just to see what I can pull out of those things as well. Different perspectives, basically. Yeah, and then so in your journal, then you keep a little space near that month, and you can actually then reflect on what had actually happened in that month, what had changed, maybe finding the connection between the two. It's kind of fun little game. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Okay. So it's interesting because there are a few overlaps from the reading I did last night, but they're in different months, and so I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit more accurate. Wait, January, February, March, April, May, June, November. Oh my goodness. Okay. Forgot to draw December. Okay. All right. And then your theme card. Three of Swords. Okay. So, one thing I want to explain before I get started, because you have several cards in reverse. When I just lay these in a certain fashion, sometimes they come right side up, sometimes they come upside down. Um, when they are upside down, we call that being in reverse. And what I've come to understand about that is that that kind of means the opposite of what the card initially intends. I have also seen, though, where it means um, it's the card's original meaning is kind of what you're aiming for that month, but there's going to be obstacles in the way, and so your challenge is to write the card, like to get it back to the original meaning. It's warped. Things are warped somehow, and you're going to be working toward getting it to the original meaning. So I will try to specify when that is happening and what's going on with all those, but just wanted you to know that when I say this is in reverse, we're going to be talking about the opposite meaning. So January is the 10 of rods. And rods generally correlate with ideas, thoughts, beliefs. You see this guy is struggling under the load that he has going on. He is, he's not even able to, he's kind of crumbling, if you will. He's not even able to carry all the things that he has. Crippling self-doubt is kind of the word that comes to mind here. January may be a tough road mentally as you're facing some of your inner ideas and beliefs about yourself, about situations around you. And it's going to be really important, if you don't already work with mantras, to start exploring that. Mantras are, statements, that positive affirmation type statements that we repeat over and over. And they are present tense. So it's not like I will start working out. It's I work out regularly, or I am a good steward of my money. I am a positive, uplifting partner to my spouse. It's not always the thing that's true in the moment. It's what you want to live into. Okay, so in January, recognizing your thoughts, where are they going? What's the thing you're telling yourself all the time? And then changing that to the positive, so you can live into a more positive place in whatever that issue is, or maybe multiple issues. Okay. February is the Three of Cauldrons. And Three of Cauldrons is interesting. You've got you've kind of got these three characters that all have very different personalities. The cauldrons are they correlate with emotion. So there's going to be some emotional stuff surfacing here. What I would recommend is to take stock of who's in your life, who has your back, who doesn't, and to maybe be a little bit more emotionally guarded. So the reason I'm saying that is you got this character here, and every time I see her, I just get this feeling she's like, there's something there, like something manipulative, something shady. But then also this one in the front, like, is like, why is she laughing? Is she party too much? There's something off with her. And then the guy in the back is just completely disconnected. So noticing the parts of yourself, how they're interacting with each other, noticing the people outside of you, and what they're contributing to your life. And just noticing at this point, making observations, so you can use that information later. March is the Fool. And this is the first card in the Major Arcana. The Major Arcana, all of the word, there's always like a word and then followed by a Roman numeral. And they are, their messages are always just a little bit more intense, a little bit more powerful. So whereas the Three of Cauldrons, the 10 of Rods, those are the minor arcana. And generally the difference between the two, besides the major arcana being more powerful messaging, is that the minor arcana issues tend to be more fleeting. They pass through a lot faster, or more easily addressed, more surfacey. whereas the Fool or the Major Arcana cards can be deeper or more lasting issues, things that take longer to resolve. The Fool is the beginning card, and I'll show you this again. It's a lot of interesting things going on here. So the actual Fool here is always symbolized by a guy traveling, young guy. But you have the baby down here getting ready to touch fire. You have the woman who's half blind, kind of stumbling through, doesn't know where she's going. And generally the Fool is, it's a new beginnings, okay? And it's that, like the beginning of that learning curve place where you... it's the beginning of that learning curve place where you don't always know the terrain. So you have this chick kind of stumbling. You can't see everything for what it is. It's like starting a new job, and you are just trying to acclimate to your surroundings. So you don't see the drama between Jenny and Sue over here that's been brewing, and you don't see how the boss doesn't just treat people like this one day a week, they treat people like this 6 days a week. Like, you don't see all the nuanced things that are happening. So it's not necessarily the Fool is kind of, we think of it as negative because we think of foolish being negative, but it's really just kind of an innocent ignorance, like the baby touching the fire. It's like, you don't know, baby doesn't yet know that you don't touch the fire. So there may be, it's generally it can be followed by some mistakes because of that. And I would recommend just having some grace for yourself during this period. If you do find yourself at a beginning, recognize that it's normal, and give yourself grace if down the road you realize, I shouldn't have done that, I made a mistake, because it's just, that's it. That is normal. It's a part of the process. April is the Wise One, and this is also a Major Arcana card, and it is number 9. Let's see here. Sorry. Okay, so it is number 9 in the Major Arcana. And we got a lot going on here. The Wise One, this is again another powerful statement. And I'm getting the sense that this is an invitation to embody the energy of the Wise One. So as you can see, he has his book here. He carries that around. He carries his lamp to illuminate the darkness. So there's a sense of he is bringing information and truth to people in dark places. That's his road to travel. And then when he does, he's bringing light here, but he's also bringing life. Okay, see all the things that are able to live amongst the wintry snow because of the Wise One. And so there may be some embodying that energy means recognizing the darkness and the cold around you, and then also recognizing that you have the tools to change that. And so it may be frustrating for you to feel like you are the only one doing this, but the end result is going to be so positive it's worth it. So embodying the energy of the Wise One during April. May is the 9 of Pentacles. And yeah, I find it interesting that she's wearing the pentacles. So pentacles are connected with the earth. And so it's almost a feeling of like wearing the earth, which sounds weird, but carrying your work around your neck. So if you feel dragged down by your work, okay, it's so pentacles, it's earth, but it's also like labor, like it's just more grounded. Okay, that's kind of where the earth element comes in. So it's more grounded. It tends to be like the basics of life, which are like toil and work, putting your hands to work, right? Getting your hands dirty is the idea. I think what's interesting with this is that she's wearing it around her neck. And so um, it's heavy enough that she has to support the bottom piece and with her hand. And so I think there's going to be a sense of work, like really pulling, tugging at you. And it's going to feel like, man, I just have this heavy burden around my neck, almost like mules, how mules have that, when they walk, they have their, well, at least in olden days, right? They have the yoke that goes across their backs. It's kind of like that feeling, like that, just pulling, like dragging you down. And that's May. June is the star, and this is in reverse. I will show this to you right side up. It's the star is another major arcana. It is 17 in the placement of the cards. Beautiful, beautiful card. This wild woman, her hair flying everywhere. She has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, and really what that's symbolizing is water is emotion, land is logic and reason. And so she is straddling both. She is able to balance both. And then she's even pouring, all of the, like pouring emotion back, like watering the land, bringing water back to the ocean. She is in balance, is really what this means. It's in reverse for you. And so I think what that suggests is that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. June is going to be, it's going to be a struggle to stay in, to balance your logic with your emotion. And I think that's going to be centered around an event, something that's happening, and you are going to struggle with your head over your heart, really knowing which one to follow at this time. And I would say with this card, what I would recommend you to do is to use this card as your inspiration, to take her as almost a divine figure that is there to help you, and appeal to her for help. It is not literal. She's not a literal figure, but she is an energy. She can be God. She can be the universe, whatever language you use to address your higher power. Appeal to this energy specifically, though, and say, I need your help balancing, and help me to understand which direction, like what I should heed. And maybe in the end, it's actually going to be a balance of your head versus your heart. So your heart may pull you, completely to the right. Your head pulls you completely to the left, or vice versa. And it may be combining the two, using a little bit of emotion. Sorry, my cat's on the counter. Using a little bit of emotion with a little bit of logic to make the best decision for the situation. July is the Queen of Rods in reverse. So I love the Queen of Rods. I think she's gorgeous. She's fierce. She is covered in fire, and there's just this sense of passion and fierceness about her. Again, the rods are a belief, and like in January where you had kind of that crippling doubt, that's the Queen of Rods is kind of the opposite of that. Now you are in reverse here. I think what that signifies is that we're still expanding to the place of being the Queen of Rods. You're working towards this. And this is a month where you may, you're really like kind of on the edge of touching it. Feeling confident, self-doubt is gone. You've been able to use your mantras to strengthen your ideas and beliefs about yourself. You just may have 1 or 2 more obstacles to actually make it to the Queen of Rods. Okay, and I think that's what reverse is meaning for you. August is going to be the 9 of Rods. And I like this chica. She's kind of got that warrior look, like she knows what's going on. She is well armed. And the thing about the rods here, the doubt, the self, the thoughts, all of that, it's all very orderly. She is not expected to manage those things. And in fact, she knows how to wield them properly. So when she senses something is on the horizon, maybe coming after her, she knows how to handle that. She knows how to move forward. So your mantras and things are working well. They are lining up, and you're going to feel well armed. You're going to feel well prepared, even though you may sense something on the horizon. And the thing about that is, it may be something that in the past you would have gone in the January, you would have just crumpled under it. Okay. You're going to be standing tall. You're going to be able to face it. So just because we move into a place of empowerment like you did in July, just because we're able to better handle the struggles and the lessons, it doesn't mean that we stop receiving kind of tests. Because how better to know how strong you are if you don't receive a form of struggle to use your skills to work through. And so that's what I'm getting for August, is that you're going to be presented with an opportunity to show off what you have gained, what you have learned, how you have grown. And the temptation will be to see it as this is just happening again. I've made no progress. Instead of crumpling under that, come to a place of going, okay, I can handle this. I know I can. And even if I can't, I have the resources I need to move forward. Night of Cauldrons is September. And cauldrons, again, kind of being associated with emotion. And the knight is a protector. We see that he does battle. He's on the warrior, or on the battlefield. He's a warrior. You're gonna protect your emotions this month. You're gonna need to protect your emotions, and that's gonna feel sometimes like you're putting this complete coat of arms on, but that may be necessary for what's gonna be happening around you. If you're used to just letting your emotions fly and flow out, you're gonna be much more reserved this month, and that's going to be important. There's nothing wrong with that. It is okay to create boundaries around your emotions and around yourself from people who negatively affect your emotions. That's September. October is the Tower. This is another major arcana. It is number 16. The Tower is a warning card, and you can see there are people falling off. The tower is burning up. Lightning is striking. Things are falling apart. I don't really honestly know what this frog means in the beginning. It's like they took a picture from the frog level of the tower, but I don't know. Maybe in a reading someday I'll get a sense for what the frog means, but I don't. Maybe that means something to you. I don't know. But this is kind of a warning sign. It's not kind of. It's a big one. It's a big warning sign that things are fragile. And this could be you. Things are fragile, and you need to tread lightly. You need to be kind. You need to be generous. But you also need to be aware and be wary. So if anyone has been presented in your life as someone that is not trustworthy, maybe they're wanting back in. That's just the one scenario that's come to mind, but I'm really getting a sense that it's a new situation being presented to you. Really evaluate all aspects and perspectives of it, because this is a warning sign that it could be really bad. So if it's someone that's wanting back in your life, or it's in a financial situation that looks like, it just looks a little too good to be true. Maybe it's a job offer that doesn't, just evaluate, okay? Just evaluate and trust your gut, because you may be making a decision that's unpopular, But trust your gut. If you're like, there's something that doesn't line up here. And it's like, and your friends and family are like, what are you talking about? It's a $10,000 raise. Like, you should take it. And you're like, no, it doesn't, there's something in my gut. Go with your gut. Okay. This is a go with your gut moment. November is the King of Cauldrons. And he's in reverse. So this is what he looks like right side up. Just like the Knight, he is holding his emotions close to him, but he is unguarded. And I think, it is an evolution. The Knight to King is an evolution in the same way that like Jack to King is an evolution. And so there is a sense of you're able now to kind of hold your emotions without being super guarded, but there's still a level of protection and regalness. Now that this is in reverse, so there may be some struggle to get there. Again, like the Queen of Rods, this is something you're living into, something that you're working towards this month. You may face an obstacle or two. Just know this is your destination. And then last but not least, December, the Two of Pentacles in reverse. You've got this guy really walking a tightrope, balancing with both his feet and his hand. It is in reverse. So I think with December, there's going to be a sense of unbalance, maybe a sense of unrest, and maybe a sense of, instead of staying on this rope, you're falling off repeatedly. And I'm just getting the sense that like it's not gonna be that big of a deal in the scheme of things, but it may feel like a big deal in the moment. And so really take deep breaths, get perspective from yourself, from your closest confidants. Like, I don't mean spread the word, but just like one or two people that you really trust and who know you well. Touch base with them, get feedback from them, but also trust that this is just a season and it's not going to last forever. Your overall theme card is the Three of Swords in reverse. So right side up, this is a kind of a troubling card because you've got, the woman in the front is upset. The man in the back is clearly done battle. And then, of course, the third gentleman is dead. And so I think with this is a troubling card this way, but when it's in right side or when it's upside down, it's the opposite. So to me, what I'm getting is the word harmony. You've got three parts here: the feminine, the masculine, and then the warrior archetype. So, and these are all internal parts for you. They may be people who manifest in the exterior world as well. So you may have a feminine characteristic, or character, a male, masculine character, and then a warrior type character. I still think these are all internal, that these are facets of yourself. We are all, regardless of our gender, we all have masculine and feminine traits within us. And and summoning up that warrior archetype, which makes sense because you are going to be doing a lot of protecting and recognizing what's valuable and keeping people out who wish to do harm to that valuable part of yourself, to the valuable parts of your life. So summoning the the divine feminine, which is the nurturer, the mother archetype, the one who's always seeking relationship, and then summoning the masculine archetype, which is generally the divine masculine, is a little bit more isolated, not as emotional, very logical, protector, provider type characteristics, but then also allowing the warrior type. Well, I think that's what it is. It's the warrior characteristics of both of those, because both feminine and masculine have a warrior aspect to them, a fierceness to them. I'm thinking of like the Queen of Rods. She has that fierceness about her, but she's still very feminine. So it's allowing the warrior archetype of both your masculine and your feminine to rise up and show itself. It's going to look different. And then those three and those those two then interacting in this harmonious relationship where they work together, not opposed to one another. Okay. I think what would be interesting too is, okay, so general philosophy is that what's going on internally manifests externally. So if you've got chaos inside, you're going to see chaos in your external world, and vice versa. If chaos is going on in your external world, that is a mirror for your internal. And so I think what is going on here is that you're going to have this kind of battle, this growing, this reaching, playing out internally, and that's gonna you're gonna see that in the external world. So it'd be fascinating as you go through the year to note like how your relationships shift, how they change, as you grow more confident in your feminine warrior, how you attract other women or other feminine characters, men or women who have that warrior spirit. And same with the masculine, as that grows and changes, how you then attract or even inspire that in other people, and so that allows them to grow. Don't be surprised if in your growing you repel other people. Try not to take it personally. This is a personal issue. It's part of setting boundaries, and sometimes it's just part of growing. That as you grow, you don't fit the relationships that you once had. And so that may be part of that. That's a little on a tangent, but it just was coming to mind. So I wanted to share with you. Let's see. Yeah, this reading was much better than yesterday's. It was almost like I was falling asleep toward the end. Like I was just zoning out, which I think to me meant that it was not keyed in. So I'm glad I had a redo, because this one felt much clearer to me. So I hope this serves you well. I hope 2018 is a wonderful year for you. And I really appreciate you allowing me to share this with you. Thank you so much.